ocean sand. You told me don't worry as the moonlight gled. I pulled you in close, so whispered I'm not scared. I'm losing control, the lights in this place keep jumping around, all I see is your face. Now you're moving closer, no time to escape. Your hand on my shoulder shoots me into space, and I can't deny how badly I need you now. 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 I need you now.
I feel like I fought all my life for this. This one part, this one third I've always missed. No, just don't let it go. I started the fight, but now I'm losing. So will I fall again? I'm scared of heights, yet it was me who ran away.
Oh, I can't forgive, can't forget myself. The peace that I'm missing, it kills me inside. I need help, oh please give me back. This one part, this one third, I'm sorry I lost it.
No, I let my weapons fall. I'm drowning in the fears, and now I know that I will fall again and let it go, but I can't stop to run
away.
Howdy, howdy. How you guys doing? So, oh, making the camera focus all crazy. How you guys doing tonight? Hopefully pretty well. What are we listening to? Sorry. Did I expose you guys to something crazy? Sounds okay to me. Hopefully you guys do. Interesting, at least. How you doing, inflation? How you doing? Coffee. That's the kind of day it's been. I need coffee at 6:30 p.m. Good, but busy for me. Oh yeah. Nectar of all the gods, at least all the ones who are awake into the night. Nice, nice. Tomorrow is a day of relaxing for me. I am going to Disneyland tomorrow. Not a bad thing. Kind of fun, in my opinion. Probably going to be raining a little bit, so hopefully not too many folks. At least I'm hoping. Hope it's kind of dead there. No lines. As usual, you guys should let me know if there's any audio issues along the way. The levels look okay. Maybe even a little quiet. Maybe even a little quiet. Anyway, so today we're going to do an LZ ST. Sounds fun. It's the first one I've ever actually handled, and it looks pretty cool. I like it. I like it. We'll pull it out in a second. This will do a little like what arrived in the mail. Nothing crazy this week. Actually, that's not 100% true. I got something cool. Hold on one second. I already have one of these, so I wasn't gonna show it, but it is something that arrived. Because I already have one. But I got one of these. Little SGI 101 this week. This one has some blacks in it, some pine blacks, but they're linearized, I guess. Somebody did it. It's pretty clean case. Not the cleanest I've ever seen, but yeah, not the cleanest I've ever seen, but still pretty good. We'll get started on this LZ in just a sec. I got a couple other things. There's been more than one instance in the last several builds where I've had to do some kind of jumper. And so I've just kind of been using scrap wire. Hey, feel like you're in the cantina on Tatooine. All right, so I'm gonna downvote this song. This streaming service that I'm using is kind of weird. I could go back to the other one. You guys like the normal music. As long as the levels aren't wrong. Here, I'm downvoting this song. Yeah, I'm gonna actually go to the other one because it's a little intense. It's a little intense. So we're gonna do this, and hopefully these levels are good. I don't know if these levels are too low or too high or what, but you guys let me know. Oh, did you like the old one? We could switch back and forth, I don't mind. Okay, we'll leave it on this for a minute, and then when this player, which sucks, stops all on its own, we'll switch back. Anyway, so yeah, so my point is, there's been a couple instances. That seems a little loud to me. Turn it down just a tiny little bit. Anyway. Yeah, does it need more down? It's kind of the thing I like about the static player, is that I don't have to really tweak it a ton. Like, the levels are just good. I'm actually gonna even turn it down just a tiny little bit more. Like pixel by pixel. Anyway, so a couple times I've had to do jumpers lately, and I have wire strippers, but not for tiny gauge wire. So I got some wire strippers and some wire, like both solid core. So I got some smaller gauge wire strippers. These look like they're 20 gauge to 30, 20 to 30, or 22 to 32, depending on whether you're doing solid or stranded. And I got both some solid core wire and some stranded wire. I don't know, just because why not? Why not just have some, right? On hand for when it's time. Because invariably, stuff we're gonna need to use, right? Hopefully not today, because this is just a simple kit build. Anyway, without further ado, I'm just gonna move over and we're gonna take a look at this LZ and get started on it. So we're not eating up a bunch of your guys' time talking about all the cool little trinkets that I got. Although that SGI, I'm happy about it. I like it. And those blacks feel great inside of it. Linearized or not, I actually like it. I like it. Looks like a couple people have trickled in total, so let's do this. Oh, hey, Unstellar, thanks for following my channel. I appreciate it. I really do. I really, really do. So we'll do our little switch over here. All right. Coffee cam. Oh, Inflation. I didn't even realize you weren't following. You've been in my stream a few times, I think. Thank you, though, for following. Seriously. Coffee cam. Still pretty warm. Definitely one of those people who does not like their coffee scalding hot. I know quite a number of people do, but it's just not my jam. Not my jam. Anyway, so I'll move this guy kind of out of the way. Oh, I got another camera or fan that I was using last time. Normally I've had this fan that is like an order of magnitude stronger than this. This guy's like USB powered, but it's like just enough to blow flux smoke out of the way. So I'm just using that now. Yeah, that coffee cam. So anyway, move this guy out of the way. Pull this LZ up in place and get some of my stuff set up over here. So I can, like our switch hitter and stuff, we're gonna need that in a while. Anyway, so today, this is gonna be built with Telios. Some Zeal stabs. Some Telios of the customers providing, so I didn't lube these or do anything to them. Well, it's USB 5 volt. Yeah, but flux smoke is not good. I don't want to breathe it in. I know a lot of people are all about filtering the air right around them. This room is fairly large enough, and has enough ventilation to kind of make it not a problem. Anyway, so customer parts and board. This LZ ST. So I think this brass is unfinished because it's got some like fingerprints in there. Take our little microfiber here and see if we can. It doesn't really come up. So I don't know if the customer will join. What's up, Utter Idiot Savant? Nice to hear from you, man. Nice to see you again. Found me through Reddit. Yeah, I've been posting on Reddit when I do my stream, when I set up for my stream. Just like to announce on the Mechanical Keyboards Reddit. I hope that it helps. I want people to draw in. I should probably focus more on how I'm gonna advertise, but up till now I've had a pretty good little crowd. It's been the same kinds of people, good community. I like it. So I'm gonna try and be a little selective about where I do it, right? I want it to be all keyboard related. Although we have gotten some randoms in from the maker, like just like they're looking in the maker category. Anyway, back to this. So I don't know if you guys know how to pack your boards well, but as I take this apart, I'm going to show you how to pack a board for shipping well, a kit. Because in this case, a customer kind of didn't, and it took a little bit of damage here, and there's a little piece of damage over here, and I hope that customer, if you announce yourself, like, sorry, I'm not trying to out you, but I am trying to make sure that everybody learns, right? I want everybody to kind of do well. So in the case of this board, the top, the bottom, and the PCB were all wrapped individually in a bag, or in the box that they were in, and they were able to slip a little bit out of their bubble wrap and smack into each other, and that's why there was some damage. So anytime you ship a board or anything heavy that's metal where you care about the finish or whatever, yeah, no problem, man. I'm happy you're here. From work, huh? Cool. Good that you're able to do that from work. I cannot. The internet connectivity at my work sucks enough that I would not be able to stream Twitch. Not on my computer, not on my works network, at least. On my phone I could, but anyway. So when you guys pack anything heavy, for that matter, but especially a board, something expensive where you care about the finish, assemble it. Make it tight, right? Don't like over tighten it or anything, but make sure that it's all snug and it can't come apart. So I repacked this when I got it from the customer, but good, man. I'm just kind of reading the chat and being slow today. But anyway, yeah, so pack it well, pack it tight. I'll show you guys kind of how it was packed when I get it apart. I won't go and re-bubble wrap it for the sake of showing you, but I will. Like, it literally was just a part like this, the two sides. I think the plate was actually on it, or was attached to the top. But outside of that, I don't think nothing, or I'm absolutely certain nothing else was tight. So I'm glad that the PCB appears that it didn't take any significant damage. Yeah, so it was pretty much like this. Just all three of these parts all by themselves. So the right way to do this, right, is to make sure that when you put this PCB in, there's something below it, something above it, to kind of hold it in place so it doesn't rattle around, because this is, you know, a fairly irreplaceable part on a lot of boards. And we'll test it in a minute, though I'm fairly certain I plugged it in before. Anyway, so always make sure the plate is affixed, the PCB is snug between the plate and the bottom board. And yeah, I mean, that's basically what we want, right? Because in this case, it was able to bang around. Oh, and that's the other thing in this one, the weight was not attached. So it got to smack around too, and that's why it caused this little damage right here. But the biggest damage is actually right here. And it's raised just a little bit. Like, I don't know how much. Maybe 15 or 20 thousandths. So a fair bit right there. There you can kind of see it pretty well. So, oh well, I mean, it's fairly unnoticeable, luckily for the customer. The thing on the bottom is completely unnoticeable, and when the top piece is on this and snug, it's pretty unnoticeable. So, you know, no biggie. But I hope that you guys, when you ship something, takes no damage. That would be optimal. No damage. And I know I've never really showed how I pack boards when I'm done with them. But actually, we don't need this part. We need that PCB for now, and we're gonna need the plate in a little while, so I'll pull that out. But yeah, I really hope that none of you guys have boards that take damage, and I'll show an actual packing video on maybe like a keyboard stream or a keyboard chores stream or something. Let's organize our screws as per usual. So we don't lose any parts. So anyway, I've been fairly out of touch with the keyboard news this week, actually. But so I don't have a lot of keyboard news to talk about per se. But I do know that I got notification today that my Punchy 1800 shipped. So I don't know how, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if anybody else is in that or if anybody's really like crazy about that board or anything. I don't know if I'm crazy about it, but it's 1800 and I like 1800, so fairly certain I'll be excited to build it when it comes. And then I'm gonna try and fit in a rebuild of my Salamander with the Heine H87A Alps version PCB that Heine was so kind as to send me a pre-final release copy of. I had some stuff going on this week and kind of precluded me from doing an extra stream, but when I get that opportunity, I absolutely will, and I'm thinking Monday's probably the day. Either Sunday or Monday. I'm not really sure. Sunday I may be available to do it. So if I can, I'm absolutely going to do it Sunday, but if not, I may do a little bit of Monday morning streaming for the holiday. Hopefully everybody's got the holiday off. So I cannot remember if customer wanted. Yep. Okay, so lubed and tuned stabs, easy peasy. Especially with Zeal stabs, right? Makes it easy, and I like them the most. Actually, what's funny is, somebody kind of called me a shill, right? Because on that last stream I had Heine's thing, and I put his little sticker up there because I wanted people to see it. I believe in the product. So I thought it was kind of funny that somebody was like, you're shilling this? Not in the stream, but they called me out in another venue. And I was like, okay, man. I'm just saying I like this thing. And Heine was cool enough to give it to me, and I'm gonna try it absolutely. Because I believe in his product. But whatever. I take no money, and I don't ask for free things from anybody. And honestly, if we're being truthful about it, it wasn't really free anyway. I've joined the group buy for that, ordering a couple, and we've exchanged other things. Like I've handed him some stuff that is worth money, so not free. I mean, out of the kindness of his heart, yeah, I didn't expect anything back from what I gave him, and I'm sure he doesn't expect anything from mine, but whatever. It is what it is. Kind of irritating. Kind of a little. What are you gonna do, right? Also, it's kind of crazy because I literally have 0 sponsorship deals with anybody. I've not sought them out at all. Like, here, I need to tilt this in a way that I can actuate these with just the switch, or with just these tweezers pretty well. But yeah, I'm not necessarily against people having them, but thus far I'm actively trying not to seem like a shill. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm never gonna shill anybody's thing, but on my channel. That's not what it's about. But up to this point, I've questioned whether or not it's something that's right for my channel. So I haven't, right? So it's kind of silly. I don't know. But I do believe in giving support where or giving credit where credit's due. I think his product is good. I think some other people do really, really well in this scene, and I'm absolutely always gonna try to make sure that I say what I believe. And if you guys have watched my review on the Kira hot swap, I mean, you'll see that I'm pretty brutally honest. Like, I gave that board credit where I thought it was due, but I also slammed it where I thought it deserved it, because there were some places that it deserved it, and in my opinion. And even if I were sponsored by those guys, I would be honest. Oh, this is the one we're actually using. So yeah, whatever. So it looks like this customer gave me a so this, it should be a function switch. Wow. So this customer gave me okay, so whatever, I guess it's 1 in this case, but up, down, right, left. This customer gave me a 7U spacebar, so I'm guessing, or 7U spacebar stabilizer, so I'm guessing that that's what we're using, because he didn't call out another layout. So that makes it real easy, because this board doesn't support a ton. Well, it does support some different bottom row layouts, but I think the 7U on this is just literally these outer, and we'll check it, but I'm fairly sure that's certain. That's the case. So anyway, all those switch positions work. That's good. We'll check this. Expressed an opinion in supporting people who make good stuff isn't being a shill. I agree. And I will give people criticism negatively where I have it. Negative criticism. I mean, I'll always try and be constructive about it. Yeah, so our 7U spacebar literally only goes in one place. So that's, you know, super straightforward. Lucky me. Although we still have to test out these outer ones. So actually somebody told me that the site is gone. Like that the people who do switch hitter are gone, right? It's elitekeyboards.com. I just clicked in that upper corner. Yeah, and it DNS probe finished NX domain, like it's gone. Sorry. I may have the source install file. I'll have to look. If you ping me on Reddit, and I do have it, the best is actually to ping me on Discord. So I am me or you number. Hold on. Uh, 7264 is my tag. So feel free to ping me on Reddit or on Discord or on Reddit for that matter, and send me your Discord, and I will certainly, if I have the source file, attempt to get it to you. It's really the best I can do, unfortunately. Oh wait, it's somewhere else? Oh, sweet. Do that instead. Don't ever download files from other people unless you absolutely have to. I mean, I'm not going to send you something bad because I think I have a little bit of a reputation. Not a lot, but a little bit of a reputation to protect. However, always download it from a more trusted source if you can. Always. I actually want to check it out. I think all my customers who I talked about Band-Aid mods with in the past by default are gone. So I used to do it kind of by default, and enough people have switched to not wanting it that like I didn't default offer it, and now I'm actually searching. Like I've switched to not doing it, and yeah, so I didn't. There's no Band-Aid mention in here, so my default now is not. So we don't do it. Yeah, and I think that's the last customer where it was potentially a default option. Like default, I would just do it unless they asked specifically for it not, so. It takes longer and a lot of people kind of don't like it. Yeah, thank you very much, TSC. I appreciate it. Always with the awesome support in the channel, for real. So some of these do not have screws. What's going on with that? It's not good. I mean, I have some extra screws. So I have enough for 3, and the rest of these don't have screws in them. Oh, they're in here. Got it. Cool. So customer absolutely has the right number. I was just worried. So 1 stabilizer, 2 stabilizer, a 3 a stabilizer, a 4 stabilizer, a 5 right? No? Okay, so we need all those screws. Let's get rid of switch hitter, because we don't need that anymore. Actually think we need all of these screws because these other 2 screws were used as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he gets 1 stabilizer wire back. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Works for me. Oh boy. I don't know, I'm kind of excited to see this. I like the 67 and 68 keys. I like the 60% plus a little bit keyboards in general. Like, I like arrows and I like being able to have home and end. It's really what I want. Although I would like to have delete too, so if this were going to be me, I'd probably have to do a split backspace, which I'm not a fan of. But it's just a little bit too little, or too few keys for me, like just 1 or 2. Yerp. And I really like having, wait, 65? 65 is the layout you like, or? Yeah, I agree. That M65 that I built, the Rama M65, like I really kind of want one of those now with the nylon bottom and the brass weight. Like really. And like if I could find it in that was the colorway that matched GMK crud. What was on the board that what was on that CA66 that I just did? Was that GMK set? Spacing. Anyway. Oh, Solarized Dark. That's the one. Like if I could get that Solarized Dark matching one and put Solarized Dark on it, that'd be muy bueno. Muy bueno. Yeah, that would be kind of the best for me. Kind of the best. For a tiny board. And that would fit in my streaming rig really well, because I could hide it up here and not have to disconnect and reconnect my keyboard. There's a polycarbonate LZ66 on Mech Market. Ooh. Ooh. I'm really looking forward to all the polycarbonate boards that are coming out. Like, if you guys have paid attention to the like comments and stuff that Heine's made, apparently there will be some polycarbonate availability on that board. Like, if you've been in his Discord and stuff, yeah, the polycarbonate Alice, the Rukia, right? Like, I am totally in, man. Like, awesome. I want one. Oh, what's up, Gucci? How you doing, man? How you doing? I see a few names in here that I'm recognizing. Hey, everybody who's a return viewer, and everybody who's new, thank you for coming along, checking it out. Appreciate all the viewers and stuff that I get. A lot of good people in here. Yeah, man, the polycarbonate stuff, like, oh, so down, so down. Whoa, the lid stayed sucked in. Oh, that's weird. Oh well. Doesn't seem to be coming out either, so we'll just leave it. Collect off of it. So, I don't know how you guys all feel about the polycarbonate craze. Like, for me, it's kind of cool because I'm not really big on underglow. I'm not really big on glow, but all these PCBs that we have, they all support it. And I want a couple that take advantage of it because, you know, I got a lot of other boards and might as well have one or two. And so, frankly, I'm pro having one or two boards that have it. And if 2019 is the year for it, then I'm happy for that. So I got in on what's it called? KBD 8X Mark II, and I opted for the polycarbonate options for top and bottom. Though I did think for a hot minute about doing pink on top and polycarbonate bottom, because that could be kind of sweet. But I didn't in the end. I just did full polycarb. And I'm hoping to get that Rukia. And what else in polycarb? And HVCP. I'd like to do that in polycarb. Like, straight up, just want that. Would be awesome. I want this fairly heavy. Spread a little bit of the love back over to this one. Did our music stop? I hate this player. I hate it. It's terrible. This is why I was using that other music service, guys. But I'm gonna, you know, just get it started somewhere else. Did it die out? Where is it? Didn't die out. Unknown. I'm gonna try it to refresh it, and hopefully it doesn't go full freaking volume. Oof. Alright, next time I'm muting this thing when I do that. Sorry. So sorry. You bought one DIY keyboard and it was an acrylic board. Polycarb is just basically better. Yeah, dude, if Mike from Novel Keys does, I could be in, because okay, this volume looks good for now, but you guys let me know if it's too high, and I'll turn it down just a little bit. The levels look good for now. I don't know. So you've only bought one DIY. Really? Gucci? Seriously? Man, you are my resident, like, hardcorest hardcore vintage guy, huh? That's what it is. I'm good with it because you turned me on to all sorts of cool stuff that I did not previously know about, or that I did and just wanted more of. Man, you're a great source of cool information and cool boards for me. Thank you again. Thank you. So what's Mike's keyboard supposed to be called? His 65. I want to know. I'm sure I've heard of the board, and I probably just haven't associated it with Mike. If it's been in the news, unless it just came out in the last week. I've been woefully behind, as I've been fairly busy with family and or I don't know, just stuff. And I'm probably gonna be for the rest of this week, frankly. All sorts of stuff going on. Just working on prototypes. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's very possible. But I don't know about that then. I mean, I'm not really in touch with Mike. I don't think I've ever had a full conversation with him. And if I have, I don't recall. Though I'd like to. He seems like a nice guy from everything I hear. Yeah, I like 65 though. And I think 65 is just about the perfect layout for my stream setup. So, you know, the funny thing is, though, I'm pretty against 60%. For myself, at least. Not for others, because everybody should use, you know, whatever makes them happy. But I am fairly against 60% as a layout for me. And I literally just sold both the only 60% and the only hot swap board I still have. Like, just got rid of them. I had a Tofu hot swap in Win Keyless sold on the mech market. Yeah, I do too, man. It's just I use them, you know? I mean, I just use them too much. TKL is really my favorite, but because I use delete and page up and page down. And I use home and end a lot too. Actually, I use home and end more. But really what I do use the most, that I kind of can't live without, is I use home and end, and I use delete, and I kind of can't do without them. So whatever my primary boards are, pretty much have to have a permanent non-function layered delete home end on top of the 60% and the arrows. So actually this LZST kind of fits, right? If I'm willing to do split backspace, which is really hard for me, but I'm sure I could get used to it given enough practice. And it would be fine for this, because I would just live without either home or end, probably home. Because it wouldn't be a board that I'm literally using to type a ton on. It would just be like, at the stream station, I have a board that I can use to type things and get to websites and stuff. For firmwares and whatever. Gucci had to test out the thick box switches when they dropped and loved it. Love lots of tactility, and it's one of the MX switches I'd consider using. Me too, man. And if you're into Alps, the closest thing to Alps Amber that there is in the MX world, in my opinion. And the best clicky. I like Zelio Stottles a lot because I like the sound, especially when you use the V2 Zeal housings. It's just so expensive to make that, like, I might as well just use Alps switches at that point. Right? I have some Zelio Stottles because I was experimenting with them, so, like, I need to find a board to put them in. Like, for permanent residence. So I need to find something that really sounds good with them. But I probably would not buy more of them unless the price was really good. It was just really attractive. And even then I might only buy them because, like, hey, I can replace or I can sell them if I need to, or something like that. I wouldn't buy them to, like, flip, but I would buy them to use with the intent of being able to sell them if I needed to, or if I ended up not using them. So it would definitely be finding a good price. Oh wait, you said more. Reason why is because, in my opinion, your vintage boards are better than any $500 keyboard. So you're going to spend that much money, you'd rather go all out on one or two boards. So you're going to do an HHKB and a TKL build. You soldered like 3 boards, probably have desoldered 200. Well, to be fair, desoldering is way harder. Although you're desoldering a lot of vintage boards, I think, right, to harvest. So probably not trying to save the pads. I actually had somebody contact me recently who wanted me to desolder an M0115 and an M0116, and I was like, oof. Are the like, do you, one, I hope they're not in amazing condition or anything, otherwise just leave them. At least the M0115. The M0116 is good, but there's a lot of them and they aren't nearly as good as M0115s in my opinion. The M0115 is like a great keyboard in my opinion. I have one and I bought it 2 Harvest Alps oranges from, and I didn't. I bought another keyboard with Alps oranges, M0116s in fact, to desolder because the M0115 was so good. I was just like, I can't. However, customer that hit me up, or potential customer that hit me up, I was like, I mean, I hope you're not trying to, like, because he was talking about shipping or whatever and cost, and I was like, well, frankly, I mean, probably I should just not ship these back to you. I should just throw them in the garbage, the plate and the case, if all you want is the switches and the stabilizers and the keycaps, like most people do when they harvest. And he was like, no, I think I want those back or whatever. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, shipping is probably going to be the same cost both ways, so like, you let me know. I gave him my price or whatever, and he was like, yeah, this is so expensive that I might as well just, like, buy loose Alps oranges or whatever. And I was like, sure, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I mean, like, sell these boards and buy loose Alps oranges on Mech Market when they show up for a good price. And I was like, yeah, potentially the case. But it's like if you're planning on selling the boards back out and you actually were just trying to harvest, then why would you want the PCB and all that stuff back? I told him, I was like, I'm not going to guarantee that this PCB is going to make it, that these two PCBs will make it. Because frankly, while I am totally capable of harvesting those without damaging the PCBs, it's so time consuming to be that careful with those apples, because they bent over like a ton of the leads on like everything, that it's like, that's a lot of time. Ain't nobody got time for that, man. Like, nobody. Well, people do, but I'm not gonna spend that much time. Like, I don't find a ton of delaminations when I'm being just generally careful on those old Alps boards, but like, it does happen. And if you want me to like guarantee that or repair any damage that occurs, then on that kind of a board at least, not on regular boards like this or whatever with modern PCBs, but like it's gonna cost more. Depends on the board. If it's a good board that someone can use, I try to save it. You haven't killed your MO115s either, but even your MO116s with rare keycaps, you completely destroy. A couple of trash bags of Apple boards. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at with it, right? Like, the MO116 just isn't as good. It isn't as desirable to me. And it's, there were a lot of them. Like, a lot. You can look at just the serial numbers and know, one, what's probably on it, but two, what kind of switches, are in it. But two, like, you can just tell that there were a ton of them made. Like, a ton. Millions. Literally, more than 1 million. Like, I think the highest serial number I personally have seen is like 1.4 million or something like that. And the lowest I've seen that I had was like 87,000 or something like that. It's real low. So, I mean, and I've seen all sorts in between too, so it's not like they just skipped a bunch or something like that. Maybe they did skip a bunch, but I've seen a bunch in between, so. I mean, there's people on Desk Authority or whatever who know way more about those than I do. Like exactly what numbers were made in what years and stuff, or likely made in what years. And there's plenty of material that I've read out there that I know I've forgotten even about them, like when I was trying to harvest them. Because I do tend to like go read up on it before I buy one or whatever. Reread. But yeah, they're great boards, the MO115. I'm tempted to honestly game with my MO115 every now and then. And I have gamed with it. Because I use 10 key or whatever. While I do it, while I game. No keyboards that aren't worth destroying under 500. If it's a Symbolics with only 100 units and played a historical part in history of Lisp, the MO116, MO115, and pretty much all Alps keyboards, no one will give a yeah, I agree. You're true. You're telling the truth. I mean, somebody will care out there. There are some purists who are like, don't destroy them. And generally speaking, I try not to destroy anything that's really nice vintage. But like if it's trashed or it's just beat up, the case is beat up or whatever, and the keycaps are beat up, and it's an MO116, like, I'm sorry, dude. Especially if the Alps are clean, but the rest of it's trashed. It's like, I'm totally willing. Totally willing to harvest it at that point. Especially if it's like scratches and stuff that can't just be like ignored, or like if it's just yellowing or something. That's different. But I generally agree. Any of the vintage boards that routinely sell for under about 500, you're right. They're replaceable. Once you start getting over that amount, like it's a harder decision to make, right? Because you're talking about some really nice boards at that point, vintage ones. Five, six, somewhere in that realm. But for 5,600, like, unless you're really into that thing, frankly, the market is much smaller for those boards too. Like, a lot more of our hobby is into MX switches than Alps for whatever reason, whether it's accessibility or cost or whatever their reasons are. There's just people who really like a lot of different MX style switches, which I'm not knocking. MX switches are great, some of them. But I think personally, all of the Alps clicky and tactile variants are superior to are just superior to the MX options that are available, which is crazy to say, right? Because there's a ton of MX variants available. It's way more ubiquitous and there are way more options than Alps, frankly, in today's world. That's how all of your Blue Alps keyboards come. Even Shiro-san was shocked how bad they were, but all that matters is the switches. Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, Shiro-san definitely gets a lot of a lot of good boards, like really pristine boards sometimes. Surprisingly clean, I think, is how I would describe them from what I can tell. I got a K104 with Blue Alps, and it was very yellowed, but it was actually not that beat up otherwise. And it was in quartz. It was a quartz K104, which was kind of a trip to me. I totally harvested it. And the Alps were great, and they're in this this AliExpress case now. I still have its parts though somewhere. I didn't toss all of its parts, and the PCB actually stayed intact, if I recall correctly. If not fully, then at least partially. And if I really cared, I could hand wire it back together. But it was really yellowed. It just was in really good condition otherwise. Killed a laser one? Really? I didn't know there were any that were laser branded or whatever. That sounds cool. I actually like the K104 in general. I think it's a good board. It was well designed. It's kind of nice. But there are a lot of different, switches offered in that. Oh, dang. At least it wasn't on the desk mat. At least it was on this cutting board. You know what? These cutting mats, by the way, anybody who's not familiar with them, they're freaking awesome. They're crazy durable, which obviously required. And you know, you could just clean them up with alcohol on a rag or a napkin or whatever. So hopefully the volume is doing okay, guys. Hopefully those levels. I keep wanting to adjust my volume of the music because it's a little loud in my headset, which is a different volume control than what you guys are listening to. But when I want to get lube on my headset, because I love this headset. It's like honestly the best. Yeah, they're A50s, dude. You know what? Honestly, I was kind of bummed out. So I was at a LAN party of all things. Yeah, I know, nerd alert. A little over like a year ago, almost a year and a half ago at this point. And the headsets that I had, the Logitech G930s, which are wireless, which irritated me to no end because they would keep cutting out every now and then. It was not super common, but it would happen at like inopportune times. And anyway, they just died. They weren't working. And so I was like, dang, I need to go get a new headset. I got a Razer Kraken V2 from Best Buy. Something was wrong with it when the mic was out. It would short the USB bus on my computer for whatever reason sometimes, like just on the random. And so all my USB peripherals would just go out and come back on. I don't know if it was shorting, but there was some kind of spike that was causing the controller to reset. I'm guessing it was an electrical short. Intermittent electrical short. Makes sense. And I'm in a roundabout way of telling you how I like the A50s and why, and justifying the cost. So anyway, I go and I return them the next day, and actually there was a guy buying the Razer Kraken V2, same place at the same Best Buy, and I normally would never buy stuff at Best Buy like this. It's just I needed it right then. And so there was the other dude who was buying them at the same time as me was returning his, and he had a similar problem. It wasn't exactly the same, but he was having a hard time where they were just cutting in and out. Almost the same problem, probably some kind of intermittent short, where they were dying and dropping off as an adapter, as an audio adapter on his computer. So he was returning them at the same time. And then I was like, okay, what other options are there here? And the only other good options for headphones seemed to be these. And I was like, man, like $300 or whatever they were. Like, that's a lot, but I need them. I need a good headset. So I bought them. And it's like, they had good reviews, right? I was looking at that up, and mine came with the not leather synthetic one, and I left it, and I like it actually. And the ear pads just come right off and remove, and I like the way that the not leather feels. The G930s I had a synthetic leather, and your ears just get sweatier and they don't breathe as well. So I left these. But that all being said, right, they're so expensive. I never would have done it if it wasn't like just the only option available at the time. And I was like, you know what? If these aren't freaking awesome headset, I'm just gonna return them. Like if they don't live up to the hype, if they have the standard wireless issues that some headsets have and stuff, I'm gonna be done with these at that price. And so they were freaking awesome, man. They're freaking awesome. They totally are amazing. The battery lasts for freaking ever, like 20 hours easy. 20 hours easy. I wouldn't go too much beyond that, but I would say consistently, even with their year and a half almost age, 20 hours easy. They're just awesome. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. Couldn't glow more about a headset. Never had a wireless headset that just doesn't have problems. They just work. And there's like adjustable volume control. Like I can change the bias. It actually accesses two audio devices, one called Game and one called Voice. And so like I can hook my Discord to one and my default that Games will use to the other, and I can change the bias between it, like literally just touching the side. I don't know, man. I never would have done it for the price if I didn't feel like I just needed something right then, but could not be happier with the decision in the long run. Like, I would absolutely buy this same headset again right now if they failed at this point. That's how good they are, in my opinion. Okay, I'll stop glowing about them. That is my opinion said. I don't know of any other good wireless options, but there are plenty of other good wired options. So, to be fair, if you don't want the wireless or need it, then there are good other wired ones. Even Astro makes good wired options. Yeah, I'm shilling Astro right now. Oh man, get wrecked, that guy. Oh man, whatever. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know, people can call me a shill if that's what they want. If they feel good about it and they think I'm actually a shill, then go ahead, beat that drum. Only gonna defend it so much, claim that I'm not so much until I'm just done dealing with somebody's stuff. Anyway, all right, so now let's get this out here. And we are going to need to, I don't know, this should actually be pretty straightforward because it's 7U, so it should go right here, and then this middle one, and then the inner one. So it should be not this most far that way set, but the one in the middle, I think, and then the one that's innermost. Actually, it might be the two innermost now that I'm looking at it. Yeah. Anyway, we will test fit it, just that bottom row, but we know where this guy goes because it can only literally go in one place at 7U, and that's what the customer provided, so don't need to ask. So much shilling going on, yes. Didn't you know that I am just shilling anything? Apparently. Like, Astro, sure, whatevs. Heine, sure, whatevs. Nah. I don't know. Like, I'm not allowed to glow about or give good positive, like, praise to something that's a good product. How much I'm into mice. But did I opt for the Model 0 at all? Ooh, what's this? What's this? Model 0? Are you talking about an all brass mouse or something? So on my Glorious model, oh, Glorious is making something. You know, as much as I dislike the GMMK in a lot of ways for people in our community, if you just want a switch testing workhorse and you can get it on a good deal, like when it drops on drop or something like that, it's hard for me to say that without thinking mass drop, but if you just want that, then the GMMK is not bad. If you're like brand new, didn't you know positive opinions are an obvious sign of shillage? Just gonna make up words that have shill in them now. Nice. Thank you, TSC. Please keep them coming. Yeah, didn't you know that it's, you can't have a positive opinion or you're a shill. You can only trash talk people's hard work. Don't get me wrong, I will give negative feedback where there's negative feedback to be given, and I will be honest about even the products that I like that I'm talking about have their flaws, right? I mean, this headset, let me think of something negative about it. If you're not using the, I'll think of something negative about it. There is something. If I were giving a full review, I'd be a little bit more in depth about it, but I'd have already written stuff down, but here, I'll say something negative about it. If you're using the USB portion of it instead of, I mean, mine's hooked up USB, but the audio interface that I use primarily going into it is actually optical audio. And it's better that way, in my opinion, because occasionally, and this could be my system, I don't know, but occasionally the USB part of it will just drop off on the random. Yeah, I heard about the buzzing back in the past. Mine are the V3s. So mine is like the most current version of the like not even firmware. I mean, mine are the V3. There are 3 versions of the actual physical headset. They all look pretty much the same and they do the same kinds of things, but there are some differences, and the V3s are the best, I guess. The most recent iteration that everybody seems to think is the most problem-free. But there are firmware updates to fix stuff, and there have been problems. I don't know if there's a firmware issue to fix the thing that I'm talking about. And I do remember there being some kind of buzz right when I got them at some point, but I kind of attributed it to the system that they were installed in. I rebuilt the system that they were installed in. Not like a whole new computer, but literally rebuilt it. And actually I restored to a backup because there was a problem with something getting corrupted. And when I did that and then installed the newest firmware at that time, the newest software, and updated the firmware on them, it did seem to go away. But I don't remember it being a continuous issue, or even really that noticeable. Like, not noticeable enough for me to actually do something about it. Only when there was like no sound coming out of them, which was like, why am I even using them? But yeah, anyway, so if you're using the USB interface, occasionally it will just drop off, and I don't know why. But I'm not gonna get bent out of shape about it because I mostly don't use it for that. So yeah, it's possible there's some kind of flaw. And if I'm gonna say something, I'll say something negative about even the HBCP, right? Or not the HBCP, the H87A that I shilled the other day. The only negative thing about it is that the V1s that I know of is that the V1s there was an issue with the spacebar LED thing, I think, which like one customer ever found out, I think, and then when you broke the connector off, right, they just found that on the Kepler. But Heine's literally said that it's fixed in the newest version. So everyone is going to have some kind of an issue. Every system will have bugs. It does drop off, you're right. You run your optical input to your console and run USB into your PC. Yeah, so I don't use it for console and PC. I just use it for PC. So I run my optical into my PC and I run the USB in, and I just don't use the USB interface. I use the optical. So I don't care if the USB part drops off as an adapter every now and then, because I don't notice it anymore. But before I did, it was pretty rare, but it does happen. And the only real way to fix it is to unplug it and plug it back in. And then it reattaches. But you do that on the base station, so you don't need to go behind your computer. Just wherever the base station is, you're just like, done. Okay, I gotta change the song. Sorry, had to go. I don't love it. So what are we doing? We're gonna do all these other stabs, and then we're gonna get some keycaps. So I'm gonna use, am I shilling Heine again? I'm gonna use Sleep to test it. So I hit next and then it just ended. I don't know what that's all. Oh, I hit pause. My fault. The V287 is way better. The V1 had a switch flaw, which made it unusable. The H87A had a switch flaw that made it unusable? What are you talking about? I'm looking, man. I'm curious. It didn't make it unusable. Oh man, that's like the keyboard equivalent of Rickrolling me. Just letting you know. Although you sent that to me before I saw it. But you just Rickrolled my whole audience. Not Rickrolled, but keep Rickrolled. That's okay. That's okay. We're gonna use 2 alts. That's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna use a 7U space. Click rolled, yes. There you go. Hey, if you wanna send me that Glorious Model 0 link, I'll follow it while I'm in here. I can't really do a bunch of typing and stuff right now, but I am actually interested in it. I would love it if you did. And if you actually think it's cool, then I want any of my audience to know about it. No pressure, you know. Just if you get a chance. I actually have the only product I have of Glorious that I like using right now. So I bought 2 GMMKs and gave both of them to friends to like test with and never got them back because I don't want to use them all the time or anything. I'm not that in love with them, but I do think they're cool for a beginner who needs to just test some switches. Anyway, the thing that I do like of theirs is I have one of their cloth wrist rests. Generally not as big a fan of the cloth ones as like wood or something, but if you need something soft that's fairly tall, then the thick version of theirs is pretty good. And that's what I needed for the use case I was using it for. Should be coming this weekend, pretty much a cheaper RGB alternative to the Final mouse. So I'm rolling a G903. That's what I use, and I like the wireless charging aspect of it. No cables is kind of nice to get in the way. That being said, it's an expensive mouse option. Before that though, because I'm very much an ambidextrous mouse person because I'm lefty and I use left-handed mouse. Before that, I was rolling a Razer Tron mouse, and I bought a ton of them for fairly cheap on Woot right after they were made, and I don't know if they just didn't sell well or what the deal was, but they were just available at the time shortly after they ended production, and Woot had them on sale for like $30, and I was like, man, I love this mouse. I'm totally gonna use it as my daily, so I'll just buy like as many as I could of it reasonably. So I ended up with like a bunch, like 4 or 5. And then I had 1 or 2 that died or whatever, or 1 that died, and then it was like time to go use another one. And I actually looked them up on eBay, and they were selling for like some ridiculous price. I don't know, like $300 or $250 or something like that. And I was like, selling. So I still have 1 or 2 of them, but I sold 1 or 2 of them too. I think I sold 2. Anyway, I don't know, I could go count, I guess. But, and that was like right at the beginning into Keebs, and then I bought this G903 with it. And again, it's an expensive option, kind of more money than most people want to spend on a mouse, or than is strictly reasonable if you also buy the wireless charging pad, which is like $100. But I like the mouse, and if it lasts, then I'm actually pretty good with it. It definitely seems like it will last. But on this system over here, I'm just using like a Razer Lachesis so I could definitely use a different, better mouse. I'm definitely not gonna like collect mice though, like I do cubes. Fair alternate. You alternate between 3: Final Mouse, MX Master 2, and G403. G403 is a good mouse too. I'm not familiar, frankly, with the other two, but I am interested in becoming. Oh, you did post it. I want to look at the Glorious. You know what? Do you have a link to the Final Mouse also? Is that a thing? Oh, $50. Okay. Do we know what the input delay on this is? Does it say somewhere on here? I do not see. Skates are Virgin PTFE, which is good. I mean, I like ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, but PTFE is better. So it says it's 1,000 hertz polling rate. Good Omron switches, which is good for a mouse. Top-notch sensor. So, I mean, I'll totally check it out. I may even buy one to have for this system. This Lachesis, the finish on it is starting to get beat up over time, just time. But yeah, I may get a different mouse for this. So I definitely am gonna be looking sometime soon. The sensor in the G903 is good, but the actual input delay is like sub 1 millisecond, according to, even though it's wireless, sub 1 millisecond, according to Logitech. And from what I was reading, at least when it came out, there were only a couple mice that could actually claim that, even though they had really good sensors and a high polling rate. Only a couple mice, and all the other options were wired, could claim true sub 1 millisecond input delay. Most mice, I guess, were around like 8 or something like that. This is all just off memory, so I could be wrong on some of the figures, but I think that's what I recall being said in the stuff that I was reading. Feel free to correct me though if I'm wrong. Again, off of memory, not reading off of a script, so I don't get to verify it. The facts. Facts. Okay, so this is the Zero Mouse, or this is the Final Mouse, I'm guessing. Oh yeah, finalmouse.com, so sure. Ooh, Ultra Light Pro Black, $70. No RGBs like the Glorious, which I'm fine with. It looks nice. I like the style actually more, especially that Ultralight Phantom. The Cherry Blossom Red would go with a fair number of keyboards that I have. And I like that the blue is fairly muted. Colors like a gray blue. Looking at them, matte black, matte white, glossy black, no, glossy white, no. So if I did the Glorious, I'd do the glossy, or the matte black. I think I like the Final Mouse a little more for the no lights. But the Glorious is cheaper, and if it's just as good, then that'd be an easy. Denton Burton Jr. Nice. How hard is it to do a custom build that's Bluetooth? Well, how custom do you mean? Because the right option, if you want to go Bluetooth, is also what layout. That's really important. But if you want to do 60%, which is, I don't know how into keyboards you are, how you know, but if you want to do 60%, which is just this portion right here, oh, like this one with the arrow keys. I don't know. Does anybody know of any 67 or 68-ish, 65-ish percent boards that are Bluetooth? PCBs, I mean. Because if there's a good PCB for it, then we could get a plate that would work, I'm sure. That's easy enough. Might have to, like, literally CAD it up to get the right thing to fit a case that we can find, but generally speaking, oh, isn't the new, wait, is the new Rama was talking about doing there's going to be another run, I think, of the Rama 65, right? Was there any, wonder if there was any Bluetooth on that. That's an option that I would guess that would be a premium option that could in the future support it. I don't know, if I were going to look off the shelf for something like that, my first stop would probably be KBD Fans. I know they have a Bluetooth 60%. Like they have a DZ60 Bluetooth, I think. If you find anything that uses a Teensy or something like that, or some extra controller, some outside controller, it could be done. I mean, I'm not claiming to know exactly how right now. They had the YD68. Okay, there you go. 65 Bluetooth. There you go, man. So that's the PCB. That 65 would do it. They're sold out right now, but I'm sure they'll do another run at some point, because it's kind of how they are. And yeah, if you could find anything with like a Teensy or something like that, I'm sure that we could do it. I don't know if you were actually super interested in doing that thing. The right move would be to contact me on Reddit, and I'll do a little bit of research on it and try and find it. Otherwise, for pre-built, yeah, there are pre-built options, but pre-built boards, man. I mean, I understand what you were saying, Gucci, about loving old vintage boards, because there aren't that many good modern boards that are better, that are way better than like any vintage options that you might be able to find for the same price when all's said and done, especially if you're having somebody else build it. Because even though I don't charge a ton, there is a cost associated with it, right? You got to ship stuff, and like I don't do it for free, because then I'd just be building a bunch of people's boards all the time for effectively nothing. I wouldn't do that. But that being said, while I don't charge a lot, like all the little costs add up, but they just aren't good, in my opinion. There's no off-the-shelf board options that are clearly as good as a custom, as any of the customs I'm aware of. Like the moment I see an off-the-shelf keyboard fully built by somebody else that you can just go buy somewhere that I think is as good as any of these customs, I'll praise it and shill it on stream, I guess. As somebody wanted to claim recently, right? Anyway, yeah, there just aren't. There just aren't. Thoughts on this? It's just shilly. Oh, nice. TSC getting all punny. Shilly. How do I say what my thoughts on that are without just being tactless? I don't know how. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of a good way to critique that, although I have not seen it. I'll let somebody else chime in. Does anybody have a thought on that board? I'm really curious. Really curious what other people's thoughts on that are. My thoughts on that board are not too high, and the reason for it isn't, well, I mean, do you want me to talk about style or like quality? I guess I'm curious, right? Because if you like the style, then you like the style, and that's fine. I doubt that the style or that the quality on that board is anywhere close. Like, It's not going to feel as good. Like, it doesn't weigh, I'm sure, all that much. It's going to be a plastic board. It's low pro, so there's just a lot of weight cutting things about that board. Pretty sure Percent is coming out with the Volt Bluetooth TKL. Yeah. I'm fairly certain it goes literally right there. That looks correct. We'll see. Nope, it does not. It goes... Yeah, it goes over. Dang, I like clicked it in and everything. That's how sure I was. And I was wrong. It looks centered. Maybe it's not. Okay. It must not be. Evidence staring me right in the face that it is not. Okay, now that isn't centered either, so it's one over. Alright. Sounds good. Actually, we're gonna leave that right there. We're gonna put this in the known good position. What bottom row layout does this support? This must be a 125-1-125. That's a weird bottom row layout. It's a really weird bottom row layout. Oh yes, sorry man, I do not have a good build command. I need to set up the bot to have good commands. I just haven't done that so far. I will get around to it because there is a bot, just doesn't have good commands. Thank you for trying though, Gucci, and reminding me. Or BBB, thank you for reminding. What's up? Oh, yeah. 125 goes on this outside. This is a really weird layout. Is it 125, 125, 125? Might be. We are gonna find out. So much confusion going on here. Is it one? Dude. Am I tripping? Alright, I'm gonna go look up its supported layouts. LZST supported layouts. What? Needs to find. Here we go. It does not show a 7U spacebar compatible layout online at all. It shows us 2625 layouts. So it shows a 125, 125, 625. It also shows a 125, 125, 125, 625. So literally customer sent wrong stabilizer. It's okay. I have, in fact, a 625 stab wire. I do not know if I have a Zeal 625, the gold plated one, 625 stab wire No, I only have 7U Zeal stab wires. What that means is that you're gonna get a GMK 625 stab wire. Sorry. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Is this even... Yeah, some of these are 625. GMK 625. And them's is just the brakes. And now I have to undo that. Well, that's unfortunate, guys. Guys and girls. Selling out recently on front page. Yeah, if I was that big, then sure, I'd just be accepting of people saying that, I guess. Yeah, positive opinion about something or promote. Yeah, so somebody criticized me for. Okay, well, so he did not specify a layout and sent the wrong stab wire. So, unfortunately, it's gonna be 625 or 1251, 125, 625, 125, 125, 125, and then 3 ones for the arrows. Because it's the best. Customer is not in here, so you know. How dare me like Heine. Dude, Heine makes good stuff, man. That's all I gotta say about it. I'm not criticizing anybody at all for having their opinions. And the person I was talking about wasn't saying that Heine didn't have good stuff. Just was calling me a shill. Which in my opinion was some bullshit. Because I done never shilled anybody. Not ever. And I'm definitely not ever going to do that. And if I am sponsored or I'm getting something for absolute free, I will let you guys know. Or for advertising anyway. Or for free for that matter if I show it to you. I think that's only ethical. Okay, so we're gonna undo this 7U stab wire here. I'm going to let customer know that his 7U stabilizer, like it literally shows 7U compatibility. How can it not be though? How can it? I feel like it has to, right? Like, okay, I gotta try this one more time. I gotta check it. Like, customer sent the thing, I gotta do due diligence, right? It shows none on the actual GB. Well, it has to have a 125 or a 15U. So it has to. Like, that's required, right? So here's standard 225. And then, like this one over in the furthest position is still going to be too far in. Yes, too far in. So it's got to be at least 125 over there. Won't do 125, 125 maybe. So this has to be. Yeah, literally the next furthest over. It would be too few. Yeah. could I do 1? So this is 1U. No? The only one that could possibly work now interferes with space. Yeah, so it's just, it doesn't do that. No, because there's no spot to put a 1U, right? So I have this one over here that's clearly too far away, and then one right here. And if I go in that 1U spot right there, it interferes with the spacebar, right? No. It accepts a 7U stab wire because they're 7U apart, but it's just for different locations of 625 or 6U. And that's what the layout shows. So if I copy this and I pull up a Firefox browser, that's what I have hooked to the, hold on one sec. Oh, don't worry. Firefox is installing an update and it'll be here eventually. Okay. Alright, 6U is that bottom one, 625 and 625 are the other ones. So he's just gonna get that top one. That's what I would go with out of those options. And he didn't specify one. So I'm gonna take a 625 wire and put it in there. Is this a 625 or a 6? Yeah, see, and that makes sense because then the 125 goes over just a little bit. So it should be 125, 125, right? So we'll plug these in. One, 2, 5, 1. 1, 2, 5. And we'll get this other one in, man. I don't know what to say. Like, it's a bummer. But customer sent wrong part. Customer, feel free to if you're in here, send me a thing on Reddit if you want a different one of those layouts. Customers are always invited into my streams, by the way. So, get rid of this Firefox. Yeah, so he's gonna get 1251, 125. If I have to choose, which I do now. Yeah, that doesn't even make sense. I'm surprised they didn't make a 12511 option, I guess. I mean, we'll still use the Zeal inserts and just give him a 625 wire. I'm gonna have to charge him for the 65 wire because I don't even know what to charge for that. Like, they come in complete sets, right? I don't know. So it sounds like our music ended yet again. We're gonna go back to Pretzel. No, we're not gonna do that song. You guys let me know. Yeah, I'd give him a freebie. It's not that big of a deal. It's just I'm out of wire. I don't even know where to get just a wire. I'm pretty good about that. I actually do give my customers freebies sometimes. Yeah, you're right. I'll just give them the 65 wire. I have more of them. Actually, I don't know if I have more 625s. It didn't look like there was that many in there. I don't personally do very many boards that require 625s. I'm big on 7U spacebar, and I'm big on wing keyless is what I'm big on. Ooh, no. Sorry, guys. Downvote. Downvote. Too much step in that dub. Too much dub in that step? Whatever. Yeah, you're probably right, Denton. That's what we're gonna do. Customer will get freebie. It's unfortunate, but he's already not getting, I guess, maybe what he expected. So for what it's worth, normally, not normally, half the time customers send me all the parts for their build. The other half I order at least some of the parts. That's how it breaks down. I was looking at my numbers recently, where I charge them in advance. And when I order parts, I always 100% verify what layouts are supported and stuff like that. And if I don't, then I absolutely eat it. If there's any kind of a change or mod that has to go on as a result. But I just check because I don't want to do that. So we'll just loop this one stabilizer wire. Get it set up correctly. I also put a disclaimer in all of my build quotes, by the way, just so everyone knows in the future, about specifically the layout thing, calling out that customer provide what layout you want before we get to this build thing. And the customer knew even like morning of, they always know at the latest that we're doing a build on X day. Like I tell them in advance what day it's likely to be, and then what day on the day of confirm that it will be that day. Okay, so no. Okay. Every opportunity is always given. Oh, what am I looking at this spacebar for anyway? Like Battlefield, come on. Five. Okay. That's fine. You get out of there. It's a little more intense, but it's okay. They are Telios. We're using Telios. Actually, I'm kind of bummed. Telios are sold out on Zeal's site. I have tons of people like Telios. Tons and tons. Like, I have customers who want Telios and cannot get them at the moment. And they're bummed. And I think we're gonna do Helios or something instead. Or not Helios, no, I'm actually selling them some of mine. This is the second time I've had to do this. Sell a customer some of the Telios that I have, that I bought for actual builds for me. Because of the fact that they are sold out. Derp. Okay, so back to the regularly scheduled program. Big Bang LMAO. Here's the thing. I do a lot of customer builds, and like I have builds of my own that are in the queue, and I'm kind of happy to just leave them there at this point. Some of them. I say some because that's important. Oh, one of this PCB legs is busted on this one. That's crazy. It's like tweaked. The plastic one. Anyway, so I have. What is up with these? So these have been used somewhere before. Hot swap maybe? So anyway, yeah, I have some boards in my own queue. Are they Relios? Ooh. I do not see a ring around. Tell you what, this is what we're gonna do. I don't know, but you tell me. We will zoom all up in it, and you can look. Let me get this brighten this up a little bit. I do not see a ring around that. I mean, mine are Relios. Anybody see that? Their springs are bad stock. They really, really, really need, in my opinion. Hold on, let me zoom back out. They really need spring lubing, in my opinion. All Telios. So, here's the thing. I've bought switches from Zeal only. I've bought exactly 10 switches, not from Zeal, that are Telios for my own collection. And these 100% came from Zeal in my stock. I'm gonna switch it back. I want you guys to see. If you look real close on that left leg, there's a very slight ring around. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. No, I don't think Zeal is selling Stelios. I'm not going to claim anything as such. I'm just saying specifically, all of mine, 100% came from Zeal. And I have a couple that are more reflective than that. And I have some that I bought for a customer where the springs looked a little different internally. 20 of the 180 of them or whatever that he bought looked like it. And I'm sure that they came from Zeal. So I don't know exactly what mold differences there were, and I don't know exactly which ones were V1s or V2s, because how would I know? I guess they're all V1s, right? But either way, I can make no claims other than I know where I know where all the ones I bought came from. I bought exactly 10 switches from KBD fans, and they did appear to be fake. Stelios, whatever. And a customer verified that too. Because they went to a customer. They were for a customer's build where we were just shy. And I sent him It was actually to backfill some that I gave to him because he was just a little shy, and I took one of them and 9 of them went to him, and he looked at them, and then I looked at what this was right as the scandal broke. None of them actually went into his board, just 9 of them went into his hand, and I filled from one of mine for his actual build. Have I tried Kale Box Orange? In fact, sir. Whoosh. Kale Box Orange. What do you want to know about it? What do you want to know? Actually, that's burnt orange, right? This is orange. What do you want to know about it? I only have them loose like that, though. I don't have it any other way. So we looked at this. It was 125 was the outer, which makes sense. One, 125, right? We're gonna place these based on that. 125, 1. What is this song? Did I try which ones? The all the loose or the blues? Because you're 100% right about the blues. They're super dirty. It doesn't matter because what I'm going to use them for, I just want the internal components to replace the ones that I already have. The loose, yeah, I did play with all of them. I wish you had given me a map and I knew what they all were. I know what some of them were, although off the top of my head, I'm not really recalling what was what. However, I had some ones that I clearly thought were good. If you want, we can chat about it later. You meant the burnt orange. Switch from Gatoron Browns to Kale Pro Purples. I think those switches would be a good swap for a slightly heavier switch. What do you mean? Do I think burnt orange would be better? So you're going from Pro Purple? Do you like the light tactility of them? Of the Pro Purple? You're gonna have to ask, I'm gonna have to ask that, right? Do you like the tactility of the Pro Purple? These are just on loose stems, so comparing just the two. I do. I think they'd be fine. They're not noticeably crazy heavier. I'll put caps on them later and actually play with them. You might need to ping me on Discord to remind me. Or ping me on Reddit even to remind me. So we're doing 125, 1, 125, 625, 125, 125, 125. Okay. Do this whole bottom row. This is a weird dark song, guys. One more. This is the one that had a weird busted leg, PCB leg, not the Switch contact leg, but the actual like plastic leg on that other one. Cool. And then everything from here on should just be one use. Yep. Cool. That does line up correctly. The plate's fixed. I just wanted to make sure that it all lined up. Yeah, these have definitely been in something before. If you look right here, the like, that thing is crooked, the like little... Like they've definitely been pulled out of something before. Clip. That's fine. We're gonna go in this corner first. No, we aren't. Okay, we're not gonna mess around with that one. There's like 80 in here, so, or so it said. Unless we need to fix that one. We'll just return it to the customer as busted. Well, some of these are really tweaked, man. Not too bad, but those little legs are bent, or yeah, they seem real light to me. They honestly, I'm not a giant fan of. Oh, Visioneer X, dude, you followed and I didn't say anything, and so did Jerwin. Thank you both for following. I really appreciate that. Seriously. And good evening to you, Mr. Petrov. Plus Plume, thank you for following too, sir. I do appreciate it. I really do. I get distracted by all the awesome conversations sometimes and didn't notice. But it does not go without saying. Just getting a bunch of anchor switches in here. So he also didn't say stepped or unstepped, and it does support both. So I'll actually give this customer until he gets on, if he wants, and he can whisper me wherever, whenever. Yes, I agree. I do remember that, and I think I liked that one. So stupid it may be, but I liked it. Because I like very tactile switches, as many of the folks here know. As you know, man, Alps Browns. Alps Browns are crazy tactile. And what every other switch that's tactile should aspire to be. And I think kind of does, frankly. Man, some of these Telios are not in the best of shape. No! Requires an inordinate amount of force because these little tines are a little bent out compared to where they need to be. Just went in a little sideways because I was clicking it in sideways to avoid bending the tines out. Nope. Man, these are taking way longer than they should. That's okay. There it is. Yeah, so like that right there. How bent that is. I don't even know what this customer did to these. It just like took an immense amount of force. Whatever. They are a going in. Just gonna have to inspect them all. That's okay. That's enough anchors anyway, almost. What is our stream time at? What time is it? 8:30? 2 hours and 12 minutes? Man, we haven't even begun soldering yet. Sorry, guys. Weren't even crazy problems with this board. I don't know, I used to just put switch. Dang it. That's the right position. Give it one more good anchor switch. Yeah, I need to. What was the clicky white one that was crazy tactile? I'm totally gonna check it out. I'm curious, like, so Plus Plume, you were talking about their crazy light or whatever. Do you like really light switches? Is that what you're all about? The light tactility? I feel like I like that opinion. It's not mine, but like I don't share it, but I like hearing about people liking it. Or about people's opinion otherwise. Well, let's turn on our little 5-volt fan here. Little itty bitty fan. That's so good, man. And I hope it's not too loud, actually. Should be way quieter than what we were doing a couple times ago. That's a well-seated switch, actually. I had a customer recently who was asking me a specific question, which hopefully will help you guys. He was saying, your solder joints look really good. And then he said, mine, every time I pull the soldering iron off, a little bit of solder comes up with it. And after asking him, 1, are you using flux core solder? And 2, are you using leaded solder? And he said that he was doing both of those. Then basically the only thing that there really could be, and what I told him, is that what he's doing is adding too much solder. If a blob is coming up with your iron off of the switch pin, then you're literally just adding too much solder. Too much of a blob. And so if you guys see that same symptom, I want you to understand that you're just putting a little bit too much on. The right move is to use a solder sucker or wick or some way of getting that off. And then redo should not have solder coming up. Off the iron with it. It should be just enough solder for you to see the solder kind of hit all of the pad and kind of concave up onto the pin. That is like the right amount of solder. What I need to do is get that microscope, HDMI microscope, and show you. The thing is getting a good quality microscope for this that's actually going to have good image quality. It's not crazy expensive, it's not inaccessibly expensive, but you know, somewhere between 150 and 200 bucks realistically, about 170 where I'm looking. It'll have real good image quality. Plus then you gotta hook it up to like a cam link or something else, or an AverMedia capture device or something. So you're really looking at like an extra 100 bucks on top of that. So one day I'll do it for you guys. It'll be more useful for SMD soldering than anything else though. For me and for you guys to look at. Okay, oh, there's one or a couple more on the bottom row. We'll get those. Okay, so I saw a question or response from Gucci there a second ago. Okay. Gucci. No, you Prime Plus Plume first. I use Pro Purples for gaming, but it doesn't feel the greatest while typing. Need something a little bit heavier. Tip not clean. Clean your tip. You are correct, Visionaire X. I need to clean it a little bit more frequently. pretty much instantly tin it. Also reduces the effect. It does. You are correct. Oh, you're talking about his. Yeah, I was like, I clean it relatively frequently. But it was dirty right then. Gucci, have I ever had my 301 split back 301 spit back out melted solder? I have a couple of tears on my desk mat from taking the solder off. Yeah, so basically what's happening when your 301 spits solder back out, I'm sure you actually know this, but for anybody who doesn't, this hasn't been on, so it's cool. It doesn't matter. You can do what I'm about to do warm, kind of, to a point. So the 301 comes in a case like this, and it comes with this tool and this tool, and it comes with one other tool which I always have out here. Ooh, what just happened to the video? I don't rightly know, but I will fix that too. Overhead cam properties, deactivate, activate. Weird. Never seen that happen before. Anyway, what an arm. Thanks, man. Yeah, so I don't know what that's all about. So if you have a 301, you're going to be sticking this little tiny pick tool in there pretty frequently to clean that, to push any solder in that tube out. And I can't really do it right now because apparently there's something in there. If I twist it enough, yeah, there it goes. So it cleans out the tube, right? It clears the tube. However, if you use this tool, and you can do this part hot because this thing is made to withstand heat right here, but this tip right here, this right here, you cannot remove it very well while it's hot, right? So don't. But this tool right here that looks an awful lot like a screwdriver is not actually a screwdriver. It's not made for that. You are supposed to take this and stick it in this tube, the tube without that, and it scrapes the crud off of the inside. And you're supposed to kind of run it along at just slightly a little bit of an angle, not a lot, tiny little bit, to get it to scrape all the crud, oxidation, and solder goop, gunk, stuff that comes out of there off the inside of that tube. And if you don't do that, it'll clog with actual solder more. And you'll have to use this tool a whole bunch more. Right? And like when I turn this thing on, don't ever touch that if it's been on, right? All this is hot. That torques it back down. Bro, you need the Hakko drill. I'm so glad I got rid of that flimsy metal wire. It's like $10 and made of brass. Send it to me. Send me a link, dude. Send me on Discord. And go ahead and post it in here if you want to. Right, so now it's hot, but I'm not gonna touch it. Mine didn't really need to be cleaned that much, but point is that's actually what you need to do to treat this thing pretty well. That and clean the filter. Make sure you always run it with a filter so you don't burn it up. Yeah, link the drill, dude. $10, super cheap. And anything that makes that portion easier, I'm actually down for. Because that whole process, more of a pain than like 90% of the things that I do with it, frankly. Anyway, I'll get back to installing these, but I did want to make it pretty clear that that's a big thing, right? I'm sure Gucci knows, but anybody who gets one of those, that's absolutely the kind of thing that you need to aim for. Clean that thing regularly, and it will never treat you wrong if you do. And it spitting solder out is definitely a sign that that tube is a little bit clogged up and needs to be cleaned out. And that's why I always do it on the silicone mat, by the way, because I really don't want solder and stuff like that to get all over my actual desk mat under this. That's fairly important to me. I mean, eventually this mat will get destroyed from what I do on it, but like all of this soldering and stuff. But definitely not aiming for that. Want to preserve it as long as I can. Desk mats are pretty cheap, a lot of them. This one is a Myonix Alioth, so it's fairly expensive for what it is. It's the XL one, so it's really large, which makes it nice to have all this padded workspace for working on boards. But they're also fairly expensive, so I don't want them to go bad. Please send that to me on Discord, Gucci. If you would, I would appreciate it very, very much. Or TSC, if you wouldn't mind copying and pasting that into my Discord, that'd be okay too. Man, some of these. Got like abused in whatever their previous life was. Their poor little PCB legs. Thank you so much. Gotta hit the hay. Hey man, thanks for participating, man. Thank you for coming on board, and I hope to see you again. You're awesome. And have a good night. Yeah, Petrov, I agree, man. Any tools though that make that better, like him sharing that, it's freaking awesome. I'm totally gonna have to check it out and order it if you guys are saying it's good. Especially at $10, right? I mean, low price of entry for making a tool just actually better. Man, it's weird to have to inspect every one of these switches. Or like other things other than just the contact pins being out of whack. Yeah. I like this music streaming service more than the other one in a way, but I don't like that it's Pandora-like, where you don't get to like choose what song you want or go back. Pretzel is what this one's called. Come on, man. So this thing bent out. This little leg, because they're obviously someone's removed the tops, or probably what actually happened is this was soldered into a switch top removal capable board, and that's common with those kinds of boards because when you're going to pull the switches out, the tops aren't clipped in as well, and they'll try and the one that has the like cutouts all around it. That's why I don't like switch top removal ones. Difficult to remove and can be harmful to the switches. Recommend against them. Don't use them. I don't know what the song is, but it sounds good so far. Clipped in fairly hard. I'm gonna add this song to a playlist. Good mod? What's that? Man, I really need to add bot stuff, bot commands in, apparently. Oh, you're saying TSC is a good mod. Yes, I agree. When I get bigger, I will need to add more. Nightbot is popular, and actually there is a bot running in here. It just it has very few commands that it's listening for. Very few. I really just need to set it up to do stuff. And I need to come up with a better workflow personally for like modifying the stream title and stuff like that right at the beginning. Usually when I set up for the stream, it takes me like 30 minutes or so to an hour. Not like just for all the setup, but like not like literally just setting up cameras and stuff, but these webcams, I have to adjust their, so the face cams on both systems, I have to adjust their settings. I have to like this camera, this is an A6000, the one over there is a A7R2. That one I just turn on and it works. This one I have to turn on and then I have to run some software to keep it from going to sleep. And in order to do that, like for whatever reason, the USB connection on it is kind of flaky. So like, it's not flaky once it's up, but on startup, for whatever reason, it'll sometimes attach as not a PC controlled device, but as a mass storage, even though it's set not to do mass storage. So I have to play with that and restart this system that this is on a couple times before sometimes. So I have to like set aside time, and there's workflow stuff that needs to get better kind of as a result. Like to prep all that and have it be good. So there's a few things that I need to work on, but it's all time, sir. Very nice palette you have. Oh, hey, thank you. Thank you so very much. Axel Newman. I like it. I like that. I like the way it's spelled. Which switch did I just do that did not seat correctly? See, I should be doing this in a row, like, you know, normal people do. There it is. And thank you for the compliment. Nice palette. I'm guessing you mean this guy. Come on, man. Yeah, these switches that have been removed from some switch top opened thing before, they are kind of junky. In fact, this one is worth saving, but it'll need to have its legs clipped to go in correctly because they're too tweaked. Never had putting in switches take this long. Needs salvaging. I just don't think there's a ton of extra of the customer's switches. Some of them are really hard to tell that they need love. All switches are worth saving. Adopt a keyboard today. Right, though? I don't disagree with you for the most part, BBB. But definitely adopt a keyboard today. It's the best move you could make. Get them keybs, boys and girls. That's what BBB is saying. Get those keybs. They are worth having. Oh man. It's funny, I was so excited when I signed up for the Punchy 1800, and I was so kind of like, I don't want to say disappointed. I'll say disappointed. I was disappointed in the Punchy Discord where there were updates, or frankly a lack thereof. There's like one person who speaks English who was updating every now and then, but they weren't the GB runner, so they kind of couldn't be bothered too much, you know, to make updates and stuff. And I understand, because it's not really their job, but it was just kind of irritating that there was a lack of comms, right? And definitely not what I expect or want. I don't know what this song is, but it's changing soon. It doesn't get a lot better, like almost immediately. 2 more switches, 3 more switches. That's how much time I'll give it. Come on, man. So this little lip right here is bent over? I don't even know. I've never seen that, ever. Man, a lot of these switches, maybe they're worth salvaging, but they belong in a board that shall be dubbed the land of lost toys. Like if I were building it, the ones that I'm kind of tossing off to the side, that is what I would call that board. Okay. So customer never dropped in to the stream or never talked, so he's getting standard caps. Actually, I think my default says stepped. Let me, like, if no one chooses. Lay it out. It doesn't call it out here. What I will do by default, although a lot of my other ones have, and they've always been listed as they've always been listed as stepped, I think. Whatever, his doesn't, so I'm gonna use standard. All keyboards have a place in this world. Does it go to the island of misfit keys? It would. That is where it would get sent. No, I don't know about their springs. Honestly, I don't. And I'm not going to criticize those. My only criticism is how that GB was run. So, did we say standard? I think we said standard. That's what we're doing. Because nothing was called out. It's easy. If customer sees this and responds to me before it's all packed, up, or before it's shipped at least, I will undo that and redo that one switch for you. Okay, here we go. Full bore. What's our time? 2:41. That's okay. The Misfit Keeve Island. I mean, I'd go there and recover some stuff. What time do I normally go to work? I am a late morning kind of person. It totally depends on the day, on what's going on, what I'm needed to do. But I normally go to work at around 9:30 to 10:30 sometime. Today I actually had to be in pretty early for me at 8 because there were some people traveling to where I work from the East Coast that I needed to deal with, interact with. And they're all on East Coast time still. So that was like sleeping in for them. But yeah, when left to my own devices, if it's just tasks that I'm completing on my own and I don't need to interact with anybody else or whatever, I actually prefer to go in late. Yeah, I'm also in California, so my time is later. I should, frankly, plan on doing my stream a little bit earlier to get maximum viewership on the East Coast too. But I mean, it's kind of what I'm available to do. Okay, I don't like this song. It's changing after this one solder. Okay, next. Boom. And a sip of water. Yeah, so you're in Central? Oh, really? So you're a late guy if you stay in my stream for most of the time. I'm trying to find good times. I'm actually modifying a little bit. Like, I started an hour early last stream and it actually worked out pretty well. So I might try and work my schedule so that I'm leaving work just a little bit earlier on Wednesday so I can start at like 5:30 Pacific instead. Now I did it because I had a fix and a build, but whoa, what is this song? Nope. Next. But I was also trying to look at the like viewership and when people fell off as a result, and it does appear as though I go probably just a little bit too late for most people, especially on longer streams, which this won't be. However, I could probably adjust it a little bit, but frankly what I need to do is start adding a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday stream, I think, if I'm trying to get more exposure. And that hasn't been a primary goal of mine. I kind of like the little crowd that's formed here, like you guys. I like spending time with you guys. Mr. Petrov, hey man, thank you for the 400 bits. I super appreciate that, man. That's awesome. You are awesome. Thanks. Wait, what? Hey, Lee Benningfield, thanks for following. Hey, you're Swedish. How about that? Yeah, I don't even know what time it is in Sweden. Are you 10 hours? I want to say 10, right? Maybe 11 ahead of me. So I'm minus 8, 7 or 8, right? Daylight savings time. That's what we are here in Pacific. So what is Sweden's time zone? Your GMT plus 1? Okay. So I wasn't too off. Pretty close. Are you the same time zone as, well, Germany, I think, is 2 different time zones, right? GMT plus 2. Okay, yeah. So you're 10 hours ahead of me. This looks a little... Same as Germany, Amsterdam, and Copenhagen. Okay. Yeah, so 10 hours ahead. I didn't remember. I knew they were 10 in a lot of Germany. I don't know if all of Germany is. I'd have to look at the time zone maps, but... But that makes sense. This sounds like 80s, 90s video game music. You know what? I'll allow it. Unless it gets super weird. Or super weirder than it is. It's like arcade game music. You usually catch the US streamers because you wake up early. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, hey man, I'm glad you found me and you're catching me. I am indeed. It's weird, like Twitch actually will tell you where your viewers are coming from. And there's actually a few EU or UK. I guess they're technically still EU for a little bit, maybe. Source subject, sorry. Not trying to bring up something sore. Just EU and UK viewers that see me. So I know that there are people. But I don't see a ton commenting about it, and so I'm happy that you said where you're from. I really am. BBB, man, thank you for the sub, for the continued sub, man. That's awesome. It really is. I appreciate it. I really, really do. It means a lot. It means a lot that people support. Or want to support, even, like, just... It impresses me Like, I'm surprised. Sorry, checking my work. I guess the right way to check this work is... The right way to check this work is this way. Beautiful. Okay, so that's what worked before. That's good to know. Perfect. Did we miss one? Looks like we missed one. Did we miss a couple? Yeah, RF J. Weird. Surprised we missed that many. It's possible those switches are actually bad based on what we were seeing before. So RF and J. Yeah, because J is flowed. It's possible. It's possible. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna actually unscrew this or unbind this cable so we get a little bit more slack. Sorry, it's gonna be a little bit blinding. Hopefully not, really. So go back to switch hitter. Oof, dude. Where's J? Okay, so J should work. It should, I bet. F? Yeah, F. And what is it, R? Yeah, so R should work. I'll flow F, J, and R again. They look like good, clean joints. Just a tiny little bit of solder. That's RF and J. I bet the switches themselves are actually having a problem because of how much damage there was to these switches. Yeah, R, J, and F, that makes sense. Okay, so R, F, and J, trash. We have a couple more switches. That's got to heat up. And now we're playing Castlevania. Yes, that is what that song sounded like, huh? That's okay, that was a fun game. Done with this, I do believe. While that's heating up, let's test our stabilized switches. Yes. Yes. Yep. Pretty happy with it, guys. Except for the top of that. Okay. So this has got to be warm now. Light goes off when it's warm. Okay, so R. F, J, okay, we'll move RF and J. Where are you at, R? R. F, J. No, it's not attached. Okay. These three switches can hang out. These ones were newish, right? Yep. They just didn't get added. Or F. And these had some like bent legs. I'll test those other ones for the customer, but I want to get this build done. No, that's irritating. Bent leg before is now bent again. Try not to bend these too many times, as well, it's metal, so it will fatigue, although these are copper. So to my understanding, copper does not work harden much, if at all. I think it doesn't at all. Someone can confirm that if they care. I know it does not work harden as much as many other metals at the very least. That goes in there. Okay. Here's the enemies and wait, what Telio? These Telios are not lubed. My Telios, so I did not lube these. There was no lube job requested on these, but my Telios are lubed with either 3204 or Krytox 205, depending on customer requests. That's usually the types of lube that I use for pretty much everything. F, J. Come on, where's R? There it is. Yep, R, J, and F. So is those three switches. Not that surprising, based on the condition of them. Okay. So these are all damaged, but worth saving. These other ones probably trash, so I'm gonna set that on top, so I'll put them in a separate baggie for a customer. Clean our tip, tin it. Always do this, guys, when you're soldering before you turn your iron off, right? Clean that bad boy. Retin that tip before turning it off. Soldering tips, man, I'm big on them because I see too many. Yep, I agree. Clean your tip, then tin your tip, then tin your tip. That's like safety third, man. Don't eat solder and don't touch your face. Actually, seriously, don't. Like, I got solder all over these. Don't like if you notice, I'm like, don't that. There's gonna be flux residue and lead, frankly, Lead. Straight up. Don't eat lead. Do not get lead in your mouth. It will not be pleasant in the long term. Don't like the PCB. If I were like super pro, I would actually take oh, this has got to go. That's what I would do first. No. Next. I would take like a good cotton based like towelette, like a lens wipe or something like that, or a wet, not a wet wipe, but like an alcohol pad, and I would put it over there, and I would use like a brush to soak with really high purity alcohol, so it all just evaporates real quick. There's not basically no water, and I would brush it on there to melt the flux residue away with alcohol and soak it up with another thing. That would be like the proest of pro ways to handle that thing. Just FYI. I try not to soak anyone's anything in anything, though, if I can help it. But that's like the proest way to remove that stuff. Unless you're into that kind of thing. Please don't be into eating solder. Flux, solder, any of that. Don't do it. Oof, dude, what are we listening to? Sorry. No, don't want it. This is getting off on a better foot, I think. Yeah, I mean, like, you can tell what every switch is just by touching it, no looking at all, no listening, just touch only. Like that little Mickey hat in the background. That's funny. You notice I'm kind of like backing off just a little bit to make sure this whole plate assembly is a little loose, so it can be kind of adjusted side to side, front to back, just a little bit as we finalize here. Like I'm getting it tight and then backing off like a whole turn or so. In case one of these holes is just slightly misaligned or something, it'll help you get it in there so that all the screws fit in. I don't think with an LZ or something high quality or something like you're gonna really run into problems with that, but at the same time, it's just good technique for assembly of things. I'm also backing the threads out to feel them seat, so we don't cross thread anything. Because you're using machine screws with a pretty... These actually aren't as steep of a pitch, or as shallow of a pitch, rather. Shallow, yes, of a pitch as most. So, less likely to cross thread. However, still a concern. Wow, there's like no play in there. It just, that is where these belong. Tight tolerances are a good thing. Then of course we torque down those corners first, right? Do it in a little X fashion. Don't over torque. And if anybody's confused as to what over torquing is, you could look up the spec for this type of a screw and figure it out, but what a rough guide for the spec would be. I'll leave this plastic cover in here that he's got on there because, well, it came like that, and upside down. That's why. Like, why doesn't that seat? There we go. That seems to seat pretty well. Do I have a current favorite board? Ooh, that's a good question, sir. Do I have a current favorite? Favorite anticipated board or favorite currently owned by me board? That's a... like, because my current favorite build, custom build that I have, and I'm gonna hedge a little bit and break out vintage boards and customs into different categories, because I don't have a good way and a good apples to apples way of comparing, unless you're talking about just purely my pleasure derived from currently owned. Okay. One board that turned out better than expected. Okay, I'll start with one board that turned out better than expected first, right? That's an the easiest answer. One of my favorite customer boards that I built in terms of the way it turned out, in fact, my favorite customer board in terms of the way it turned out, Duck Unicorn X Legend, and I hated building it compared to like every other board that I built. Oh, dude. Too much dub in this step. Too much womp womp. Womp 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 womp. Yeah, so Duck Unicorn X Legend was a fairly unpleasant board to build. In fact, I think most Duck boards are less than perfectly pleasant to build because of the way their diffusers sit and the firmware that they use. That last Eagle was cool because it was QMK, so that's kind of convenient. So do you guys have any ideas for what keycap set I should use on here? Yeah. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen. So you got my favorite in terms of the way it turned out, or most unexpected at least. But you didn't get my... Does that alt not work? Shit. This alt does not appear to work. Okay. That sucks, but we're gonna fix it. Did I miss that before? Whatever. We got a couple extras we can fix it with. I'm actually gonna leave this bottom with the screws in it, hopefully. So my favorite board that I currently own, as built, pretty easy. The Salamander with brown Alps. Favorite currently as built, but it has a lot to do with we're not going to put SGI Granite on here because that would be impossible. Obviously. Obvi trolling me. Is this alt, right? This alt. Dang it. You know what? I'm gonna blind you. Yeah, it's the switch. Alps do make boards better. I agree. So yeah, that salamander with brown Alps, easy peasy, man. That doesn't make the board itself my favorite board, just as built in my current inventory. If I had to pick a current modern production or modern board, I would probably say that I have, like, just based on the board itself and how much I like it, it would be TX 1800. Like, not involving the switches, just I like this board, TX 1800. You know what, I don't want this to be wrong. Literally gonna test this switch. Okay, well, this switch works. Continuity checked. Yeah, so that's my favorite modern production board that I own. I'm gonna check this real quick to make sure that this is right. Correct. Yeah, that's it, man. That's my fave. My fave. My favorite vintage board that I own, in terms of typing experience, like, that I would like to use the most regularly, vintage board that I like, MO115 probably. Probably that one. In terms of vintage boards that I like, that I think are the coolest, like actually just are the coolest in their own right, definitely what Gucci got me here, buddy. Model M in Blue Alps. Just because it's cool, because you don't see that thing, like, ever. Pretty much. Super uncommon. Okay, here we go now. Alt. Yep, cool. Cool. What are we saying? You're currently working on a wooden 60% build. What do I recommend to fill the dead space between case and the PCB? Getting a hollow sound while typing. I mean, the very best stuff that you can use is any kind of mass-loaded nylon. So basically, what Sorbothane, I think, is what all the cool kids are using nowadays. If you don't want to spend absolutely ridiculous amounts of money on Sorbothane, because that stuff is wicked expensive. Sorbothane, by the way, that's how it's spelled, Sorbothane. I'm surprised I think I spelled that right. Surprised I could do that without reading it. I'm usually bad at that kind of thing. Not that I don't know how it's spelled, but like if I don't type it out or whatever. Anyway, If you don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of money on Sorbothane, then pretty much I think you're locked into shelf liner or some other mass-loaded nylon product that you can find on Amazon or something like that. And you can find some. They're all pretty expensive though. I don't know if it's a manufacturing cost or if it's just the market that they sell that stuff for automotive use mostly. Just pricey. Unknown. You can use shelf liner, you could use neoprene, anything that has mass, which neoprene doesn't have a lot of, nor does shelf liner really, but anything that has mass and readily absorbs the sound instead of transmitting through. Cool. Okay. Try it one more time. Throw some caps on here. Doop, 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 doop. One, two, three, four. Yep, cool. And then this is, sorry. Oh no, sticky keys, no. Yeah, anyway. So, yep, we're done with that. We're gonna move over. Oh, wait. CF plates are cool. My personal favorite right now, FR4. And the cheapest, usually, option. Well, let me see this. You just built... Oh man, we're going all sorts. Depends on Switch. Hollow isn't necessarily bad. A lot of old keyboards have hollow. They do, and it sounds good. A lot of them have like a little speaker port in the bottom of it too, like, well, cut out so the sound can escape. Put a bunch of... Let me see, won't spend more money on boards. Kalevox Royal. Uploaded. Okay. Oof. Oof. What board is that? Why is that not... What compact board is that? ISO. Where are you at? Or are you just building ISO boards? Oh, you're... That's right. You're Sweden. Never mind. Never mind. Love that Space Cadet on there. That is beautiful, man. That is a gorgeous board. Oof. Yeah, Illu's Monkey Tops. Cypher. Cool. Kind of want. Okay, so I'm gonna move over, get our mic set up over there. All of our equipment is off over here. So we're gonna switch over. Sweet, shiggity, sweet. Probably, just FYI, guys. Second favorite modern of my own boards. Build wise, anyway. Blue Alps, cheap Taihao Dolch. Keycaps, cheap AliExpress case, LFK, plate and PCB, and I don't love the plate. I hate the plate, and I don't love the PCB, but I'll accept it. And I will be right back, actually. I'm going to take a little, get me some water break, but I will BRB like less than 1 minute. Alrighty then. Cookie gonna do something. The octopus while I was gone, huh? How does this fit up against it? Too big. Too big, wrist rest. Alright, guys and girls. What are we going to put on here? Anybody got ideas? Anybody got ideas? I'm thinking Calm Depths. I don't have GMK Pristine, unfortunately. Modern Dolch, Calm Depths. I have Signal, which is doable. Monotone. White on black is always a classic option. A Modern Beige, I don't think that fits. Black on white. Yeah, I think these are the options, guys. I think these are the options. Monochrome, Signal, which is the blue on black, could fit. Oh, we're not gonna do camping. I don't know why I pulled that out. Camping would look terrible on this board, I think. Camping. Here's the EPVT black on black. I don't know why I pulled that out, but sure, that, I guess. GMK Calm Depths and GMK Modern Dolch. Personally, I think Calm Depths or Modern Dolch look the best on this. Monochrome could be good though. GMK Camping. Yeah, I think Calm Depths is the best so far. Yeah. Signal or Calm? Yeah, so far I think Calm is kind of my winner too. When did I get camping? A couple weeks ago, man. And I got a good deal on it too, so I was like super stoked. It popped up and I was like, boom, I'm getting it. I mean, it was good. Yeah. Okay. I think Calm Depths it is. Boys and Grills. What is the upper ones? What were these? I don't remember what those were. Let me pull up the Switch Hitter had it. They were insert and page up. Okay. I think I have the accent spacebar and I think I have all the other parts to this, but I think we got everything we want here anyway. Oh wait, this isn't even escape. It's tilde. Oh no, whatever. So yeah, so if I were gonna remap it, I would remap it as escape personally. Do not like this song. Don't know what it is. Do not like. So it was 1251. 125, which is super weird, but for me at least. Yeah, I'm kind of excited. I don't think, have I put Calm Depths on anything yet, guys? I don't think I have. I think it's literally never been mounted before. Signal would look good on this board though. It really would. It's probably the next best option, frankly. Is this a 225 shift? Is that what's supposed to be right here? I think it is. It's okay, we can do that. GMK cheese is Gouda. What did he ask? What's IC? Oh, I see. Got it. So an interest check, I think you're saying, yeah, you don't understand. So interest check is GMK Dracula does look cool, actually. I don't know if I'm all about the super pastel-y, like, other colors, but it's acceptable for sure. So yeah, so interest check means someone is posting like a proposed group buy, right? Like a proposed thing, and if enough people show interest in it, usually the way it happens is someone will run the actual group buy. And if people don't show interest in it, they're not going to run it because they know it won't sell very well. And they'll just be taking, like, they'll be taking money that will have to go back to all the people. So they just won't run it. Or if they don't think it'll hit minimum order quantity to hit the price points that they want, that's just kind of where it'll go. Yeah, this set, it does look really cool, man. I do like it. I just don't love the pastels, but I may really love it in person. I may really love it in person. And I probably will get down on it. I like that it's themed. I even like the theme. So it's very possible that I'll get down on it. We'll see. We shall see. Showing you guys some elbow. Sorry. I think the most exciting set right now for me that's currently out or currently in group buy is GMK Mizu, and then the most anticipated for me upcoming set is actually 8008. Like in the immediate future. In the immediate future, already guaranteed. And then the one that's most exciting to me that, like, I haven't seen a guarantee, but is likely, I think, to run at this point based on what they've said, is something that was presented a really long time ago, which is GMK Black Lotus. That's something I'm looking forward to. Though Dracula does look cool too. I don't know what my most anticipated upcoming set that I'm already in on is, though. I think I'm kind of anticipating a lot of them to be cool. Mr. Petrov, you agree with Black Lotus? Because that looks super sick to me. Like, super sick. I'll tell you what I'm most bummed about sets that are going to be running, or that are running right now, that I'm disappointed in, is Red Samurai is rerunning on drop, mass drop, whatever, and they are not running a full base kit. Like, I can't do a 7U wind keyless bottom row, and I'm super bummed. If they had that support in there, I'd jump on it like that fast. Sorry, I snapped pretty loud near the microphone. I'd jump on it immediately. You bought Red Sam for relatively cheap on drop, just so you can put it on a keyboard you're making for a friend. I have no problem with it, with other people getting it. I just, like, I kind of can't bring myself to buy it because it won't support so many of the layouts that I want. Is there? There is. I don't get to use that page up very often. Are there colored arrows as part of the accents for this? I don't believe so. Why is this so much lower than this? Oh, it's not. That's weird. It just looked like it. No, it's not. Just wasn't seated all the way. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And then a 1U super. That's super. Super. I know. It really is. Really is a bad name. So this actually looks pretty good, I feel like. And the lights are real dim and subdued on the bottom. Like real dim and subdued. A little bit more noticeable on the sides. I think the brightness could be adjusted, but I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. I like it. I do believe, though, it's boot time for a type in test. Okay. So anybody got any guesses? Oh, come on, close ad. Man, I don't have any ad blocks on, on this 180. Oh, no way, dude. I'm nowhere close to that. 70 would be like probably, maybe like 75 is my fastest ever. Yeah, no. Okay, look, Gucci, in my defense, the only time I've ever gotten in the 20s is on that ortholinear split, right? Like where I was just like, it's like terrible, can't type for shit. 56 is believable, 66 is believable too. All right, let's see. Haven't typed all day, honestly, not even a little bit. I think I typed like numbers for about 4 seconds earlier, other than like just setting up the stream and stuff. So we're gonna just pause this music is what we're gonna do. Okay. Before we'll do a little bit of sound test first. Fingerprints. Collects fingerprints. Okay. Whatever. Refresh. Don't load any of the ads and stupid crap. All right, well, it does sound good, actually. I do agree. There's going to be a little ad that pops up here. Goodbye. Okay. Really? Oh my god. We're gonna do another one. Wow. That was really bad. There were some really big mistakes. It's okay, man. I can be slow. It happens sometimes. But we're gonna try one more. Wow. It's really bad. I'm doing really bad. Oh, yeah. It's okay. I'm doing really bad. I've been doing really bad ever since I went on vacation like a month ago or a month and a half ago. It's because I haven't really been practicing. But I will say this. I'm finally starting to catch up now that I'm touch typing. So this is gonna maybe blow you away. So I've only been touch typing since maybe a little more than 2 months since I got into this hobby. And it's not that I was looking at the keyboard before. So it's been less than a year that I've been touch typing, like significantly less, like maybe only 8 months or 7 months. So before, my fingers were drifting kind of all over, and I wasn't keeping centered on home and using the correct fingers. And I was still not really looking at the keyboard, and I was getting to about 60 words a minute, 55, 60. And I'm caught up actually touch typing and keeping fairly good form, just touch typing. Like, I didn't learn it growing up, but I used the keyboard so much that for the most part I just kind of knew where I was and could drift around. Yeah, and typing is not my job. It's actually not a thing I'm doing all the time. I mean, there is typing involved in my job, like anybody's job in today's world. But it's definitely not like I don't have to type every day if I don't want to. I don't have to. I do have to type most days, but like even a significant amount sometimes, but not all the time. It is just practice, and I've been not practicing since I was on vacation last. Earlier this year. Okay, good. Yeah, and that's what I was doing. About 60. Now you average about 98. Wow. Do you type a lot for your job? You must. To get that good that fast. You didn't touch type till you got blank keycaps, okay. Do like 10 fast fingers. Yeah, and I did for like maybe a week and a half, do 10 fast fingers, like a bunch, and then I just kind of stopped. You need to stop slacking. You need to work those fingers as soon as you get up until you fall asleep, so I could just have arthritis. I'm already gonna have arthritis in my hands for sure. Did all the typing club lessons. Yeah, I've done some of them. It was awesome. I feel like 10 fast fingers inflates your typing number. Type slower on Type Racer. I'll have to try that. Pushing mids is completely different from using a keyboard. Yeah, no joke. Learning though. Just practice. Yeah, and it will inflate your numbers, but who cares? Like, you're never gonna think and be typing quite that fast. And that, I think, at least for my generation, and I'm guessing most of yours, maybe not all, people in my generation and in a lot of the current people who would be typing learn to read phonetically, and so we process words at a slower rate than people that learned to read differently, like word for word or phrase for phrase even. 10 is more accurate. It's words that everyone knows. Nothing throws you off. Yeah, sure. Keever is a great web page to help with muscle memory. I'll have to check it out. I really will. You don't care if it inflates your numbers. It's just a yardstick. Yeah, it is. It is. If you're comparing apples to apples, like your performance one day with common words to your performance another day, that's fine. And muscle memory is a real thing, right? If you watch me type like something, or like certain words, I know I'm typing way faster because I'm not actually thinking about where my fingers are landing for keystrokes. Like, it just is a pattern that I don't have to think about. Those are better. So it is muscle memory, and I will get faster if I focus on it. I'm just not, as long as it's a constant yardstick. I don't care how fast. Yeah, I think you're good, man. Do the practices. Like, get faster if you want to. At 98, I don't think you really need to get faster, but that's your thing. Even at 60, 65, 70, 75 on a good day, I don't really need to get faster either, honestly. Like, it's plenty fast enough, because I can't really think about the words faster than that as I'm trying to type. If I was taking dictation or something, someone else talking and me doing it, that'd be a different story. But I can't really like write an email and think those words out faster than I can. I'm not overrunning my typing ability. So there's nothing to incentivize me to push faster personally. That's just me though. Don't get me wrong. We could always improve. I would like to improve at some point, but it's really just like a throw this on the table. I can type this fast. Like, it's just a flex. There's literally no improvement for me personally in my job and stuff. I'm curious, what helped you? Reading ahead. Yeah, and so I find actually that on days where I'm typing faster, like above 60 words a minute, I find that I'm seeing myself read 2 or 3 words ahead as I'm typing them. On days where I'm slower, like today, I find that I'm just barely edging ahead of where I'm typing. Yeah, just barely. On days where I start breaking away from and improving, I'm reading ahead. And actually, before I went on vacation this last time, I was noticing that all the time I was reading ahead, and now it's kind of shaky. Gave you 15 words a minute. I believe it, actually. I totally do. You've typed the fastest on your Model F by a huge margin. Really? That's awesome, man. That's a solid, like, you guys should get some cool vintage buckling spring keyboards. Type 15. Okay, that's a lot faster. Because you enjoy getting better. Yeah. Light switches make you type fastest IMO. Actually, that's not true for me. My fastest typing tests have always been on this salamander right here, with the Alps Browns. And if you listen to what Nathan Kim said, Nathan Kim also said that, I think it was Nathan Kim, I'm fairly certain it was, said that he believed that whatever it was about Alps Browns, like the way that they're weighted is just he types faster, or people type faster, or have an easier time typing faster. I don't know. I'd like to find that in one of his old VODs and clip it. I just don't have time to like rewatch all this stuff to find it. I think it was him. I'm fairly certain it was. Light will be faster if you can do it accurately. I agree. But like tactiles, actually, I do type the fastest on tactiles. Like my fingers do cue off of. I'm a heavy typer, and my like I'm bothering me out all the time on these Telios. But my fingers do definitely cue off the tactility jump down, and that actually helps. I think Alps are better because of a lack of hysteresis, right? Like when I'm typing on clickies, especially. Like, personally, I feel like it helps. I don't know. Light v heavy is just a trade-off between speed and accuracy. Correct? Probably. Model F isn't light. You like heavies? I like heavies too. Off to bed. Yeah, we're about done anyway. Thank you for joining in, Petrov. I really appreciate it. I always appreciate it. Thanks for the bits earlier, and anybody else that's followed. I need to follow up on that, and thank you guys. So Naddle followed. If you're still in here, thank you very much for following. I don't think I said anything. Oof, dude, 163 is ridiculous, man. You're a monster. That is insane, dude. That's very close to, that's approaching like literally the fastest people in the world. I think there's some people that like have broken 200. Yeah, I can't conceptualize that either. That's crazy to me. IBM Model F OP. It is OP for sure, but not because Gucci can type super fast on it, because it's just an awesome board. All right, gentlemen, ladies, anybody in my channel, we're not going to listen to this as we go out. Or this. Sure, this sounds okay. I can't even type 163 by smashing my fingers randomly in that order. Yeah. I spent a lot of time on a computer. I just didn't learn to touch type until literally in my 30s. All right. Guys, I'm gonna go. Thank you guys so much for watching, participating, all of it. I super appreciate it. The stream wouldn't exist without all of you guys. I love this community, and I love the group that watches and follows me. Thank you guys so very much, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night or morning or whatever it is, wherever you are. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.